Hello, everybody. It is now October 31st, 2012. I would say, I guess, a couple of days after Hurricane Sandy touched down here in the tri state area of New Jersey, I could say that um, in my area, there were some streets, some houses that were affected by the hurricane, mainly the folks around the corner where I live at. Um, One of the transformers blew and it knocked out power for residents around the corner. So they had to sit in the dark and probably still are. We were fortunate to have our lights working, but you can hear transformers blowing up at the same time. Lots of wind and stuff. And of course, with all the weather extremities that we've been experiencing, for those that have like utilities, like your power, your cable, or if you have Verizon, DSL, or the old telephones, or the FiOS, and if you have your lines ran above ground, you could experience some outages like what I did. But the problem with the cable that I have was there was a problem at their distribution center, and so maybe the weather had something to do with it. They lost power, or it got flooded out, or their backups failed to kick in. So of course we didn't have no cable TV, internet, or phones because our phones is hooked up through the cable system. And of course some cell phones weren't working due to the power outages, maybe caused by the wind, snapping power cables, flooding backup systems. And a couple things I want to talk about, and try to be very brief in this video, and is that how connected we're in this matrix. As soon as we lose power or not have cell phone service, folks go crazy in this when they don't have, I would say, these modern high-tech conveniences because they're so used to depending on them, and that folks go crazy if they don't have it. Well, you got to think of a time before you even got hold of these modern conveniences. What did people do to occupy their space and time? Well, what I used to do as a kid before I had internet, I used to play video games. Of course, if you have power, you can do that. But if not, then you just have to sit in the dark. Bring out some candles, some flashlights, and some little portable backup lights, and play some board games like our parents used to do. But man, I tell you, man, some of our parents, man, they really into this matrix. I mean, deep into the matrix, not realizing how deep they're in. And they don't have no power, and they don't have no phones and no internet, but they have power. They just go crazy. So, and they grew up during a time when they didn't have all these modern conveniences like the internet and cable television. Well, some did, but now, well, I would say my folks here, at least my family, didn't have cable TV back in the day. But anyway, so what I did to occupy that space and time, and I admit it was kind of boring because I didn't have the internet to go online and on YouTube, which is my favorite spot to hang out on online. So I had to play video games. Plus, I listened to the radio just to kind of get some up-to-date news. And there were some reports of people losing their lives either because they didn't heed the warnings or they tried to weather the storm out themselves and they just got caught in the cross. What I'm trying to say is they got caught up in the moment and they didn't make it. So those that did, we should all be thankful that we're here, that we made it, that our homes are still intact for those that were fortunate, and for those that lost their homes due to the flooding and the high winds and the destructive force of nature. We should at least be thankful that you're alive and well, and at least make it through the storm, because you could have been caught up like the rest of the people that lost their lives. So I just want to give you that update on that note, and just get back to this matrix, man. our generation, mine in particular, and some of our parents' generation, who depended on the Matrix to basically connect to the Facebooks, connect to the internet, to stay connected with friends and family from either across the pond or across the country or another part of the world. People just go crazy when they don't have the technology at their disposal, when it's down. I mean, come on. I would say we've been through natural disasters before, at least in this area. I could truly say that, at least for the cable company, I would say that we had our services restored within 24 hours of after losing it. It may took a little bit more time, but I would say it came back quickly. Now, that's, in my opinion, pretty good. Where some people, they lose their utilities for days, sometimes weeks at a time, and that's really not good. A lot of these modern conveniences are, like I said, are part of our daily lives. Many of us are dependent. Some folks run their businesses in the Matrix, meaning they use the internet and stuff to conduct business. If you don't have your internet and stuff intact, or your cell phone, you're pretty much out to lunch, out to dinner and breakfast the next day. So consider ourselves that did have all the modern conveniences, fortunate and blessed that you have it. And for those that don't and still waiting to hear back from the utility, just be patient. We'll get through this. It's going to take time. And even, I won't say the technology too, but for those of us, excuse me, that rely on public transportation, like for the folks in New York City, and I used to work in New York, and I know how it is to get around by subway, and the majority of the stations are flooded, so I can imagine it's going to be tough getting around in the city. And if the business or your lifestyle or work requires you to travel via the subways, I just say good luck getting around. And hopefully the MTA and the folks out there are doing their hardest to get your services restored. Let me get a sip of water here. Hopefully they will restore your services as soon as possible and resume back to normalcy too. So, plus we got a pending election coming up next week. Folks will be going to the polls. Would this don't have anything to do with the elections? Probably has a lot to deal with it. May look good, may or may not look good in the president's favor, but only time will tell. Only time will tell, and people vote. Go out there to vote. Vote with your conscience. Vote who you think will be the man or the woman to do the job. Bring forth your interests and your agenda. So if you have an agenda, man, folks, put it out there. But the least you can do is vote. Well, select your candidate. That's all you really do. So that's it for now. I'm gonna cut this video off because I have nothing else to think about right now. If something does come to mind, I'll post a follow-up to it or make another video. Until then, just stay focused, people, and be patient with your utility companies. I mean, you gotta realize we just went through a major hurricane in this northeast area. And if your services are back on within 20 to 48 hours, I would say they're doing pretty good. So, take care. Peace out. Later.